Welcome to ExxonMobil Presents Festival of Manufacturing, co-powered by Ace Micromatic Group.
जिंदगी का एक ही रूल है, उठो, जितनी बार भी गिरो, उठो. And I've learned, listen, we've made mistakes, sometimes in product engineering, sometimes in quality. We've picked up and we've picked up. If you ask me, I will tell you, no one is a success if you haven't got failure. I'll tell everyone, do not be scared of failures. Do not be scared of falling down. Well, I'm glad to be here, and I think, as I said to you when you were here earlier, that I'd rather be here than in Davos. This is where all the action happens. Manufacturing is the most important part. In my view, you really have to understand that in all of this new world of startups, manufacturing, execution is the most important thing. If you want to be a success, any new player that is coming to this world, manufacturing is key to the success. To be able to get scale, to be able to get the product, to be able to get quality, and to be able to get the scale, having the right manufacturing processes, having the right teams, and everything happens here on the ground floor. Look, to me, I was a hedge fund manager for 35 years. The last 10 years, my family's been in manufacturing for the last 55 years. This is something, for me, this is more important than any of my jobs at Wall Street or anywhere else. You learn the human side of things, you learn about product, you learn about how building a product right cycle, it's how you make, it's like having a baby. You let it grow and you let it flourish. And manufacturing to me is the most important part. And India today, this new India that we're building, has an opportunity to build and take this manufacturing skill to make us the third largest economy in the world, which our Honorable Prime Minister is talking about. Look, I think you have to have focus. You've got to have, look, everybody doesn't have all the training in the world. You can learn on the job. In my feeling, all the engineers, all the computer scientists, all the technologists, we can have the education, but the real life experience on the ground, working in manufacturing, is extremely important. Manufacturing is in my blood. My father, when he came from Pakistan, back in 1947, had one small factory. Today we have 20 factories across this country. We built, it was really, really taking the experience of my dad over how you build a very, very organized, structured, but with technology, with using the right personnel, working with today's manufacturing 4.0 and many other learnings, not just from India, but from all over the world. And I think for me, it has been a transformational. I spend enormous amount of my time. I'm a frontline guy, and to me, I get the most joy. I learn the most. I touch all the people. I know everybody. And I think that is, for me, how a brand and how a company, but manufacturing has to be a combined effort of the team. In America, India is manufacturing, and when you say it is the Marilyn Monroe, it is the most beautiful thing ever in terms of my life. It's extremely important to have, for every one of us, to have role models. I think, for me, the manufacturing role model came from my dad initially, but I think, in America we say change with the time, or time will change you. Obviously, there was a level of what I learned from my dad, but it was always learning from senior members of our organization in supply chain, in quality, in manufacturing, in production, all of it, in technology. I think the motivation for me always has been, what interested me towards manufacturing clearly was that I like to build things. I felt a very big hole. I was a very successful hedge fund manager for 35 years. I was just buying and selling, making decisions on screens. I wasn't creating any value, in my opinion. Yes, I created a lot of value for my investors and I created a lot of value for myself, but I wasn't building anything. For me, how do you help your country? How do you help the world? How do you give people a better living? If you come back to me, manufacturing provides employment. It employs, it gives money to people that can have better health care, can have better families. So for me to make a meaningful difference, see, I don't want to be giving out a handout, but if you have a manufacturing background, if you build products, if you build better products, if you build technology into your products, you are building an ecosystem. And for me, that drove. There's a lot of humanity into me. And I'll tell you what, within that, what is driving me today in India is Nari Shakti. I was just seeing in Davos, our Minister Smriti Irani ji was speaking just yesterday. What a powerful woman. Nari Shakti of our country, which is 48% of our country, needs to be part of that. This is the only way. If we bring them in production, if we bring them in manufacturing, that's the only way we're going to be able to get our 5 trillion economy and the third largest economy. I am absolutely behind this, where Prime Minister Modi ji is talking about. But if we don't take the Nari Shakti with us in manufacturing, we will never achieve the goal. I will tell you, no one is a success if you haven't got failure. I'll tell everyone, do not be scared of failures. Do not be scared of falling down. And I'll tell you, when we started OSM, I will tell you, we fell. We built the product, we had many issues, we still kept working on it. For me, manufacturing, it's an amoeba, it grows. You give time, you learn from it. You learn from your people, you learn from your environment, you learn from your suppliers, you learn from the ecosystem. And what's most important is, when we make mistakes, when we fall down, that's the only time. I will tell you, nobody has been a success if they have not fallen down. And for me, manufacturing success comes from making mistakes, learning from mistakes, and improving. And clearly, I'll come back to it, learning from my people in the front lines. Manufacturing has made me, what I am today and what I want to be tomorrow. I want to be remembered when I'm done. When I'm done with this game and I'm old enough and I can't do, more than what I can. I'll tell you what, I want to die on the front lines of manufacturing. If that's my wish, that's something that is coming from my heart. Manufacturing has told me that it is something that has to be inside of you. Either you have it or you don't have it. And if I want to build a company, if I want to build, and I'm keeping on saying, it's not just the company, if I want to build in India, which I think is an opportunity of where we are going, I think every one of us, as leaders, as founders, as owners, as industrialists, have to make sure that this is part of our DNA. When I see young men and women in my company learn, be experts in manufacturing, learn from their mistakes, develop skills, become better people, get more experience, learn and be more valuable to the organization and to the country and to the world at large. That has been my biggest give. And as I told you, for me, making sure that this entire team of mine, I call them Avengers, who tomorrow can go and learn from here and build new companies. And you know what? What do they want? They only want to protect you, and you. And we need to respect that. So some of us also have to be doing things for the country at large than ourselves. So what is my journey since my youngest? My family thinks I'm mad. They really think I'm mad. When I started OSM, my mother, who is my best friend, who's everything to me, said, Uday, is umar mein ye kaam kar raha, are you mad? And I said, Mom, you know what? If I want to change, if I want to bring a change, I don't want to be remembered as somebody who made a lot of money. Money is important. I want to be remembered among this country. For me, this is where I end my story. This is where my train ends. This is where I'm going to be. Listen, I think my family thinks that I am just a person who's going to keep taking challenges, who's going to keep taking risks. But I'll tell you what, they know one thing. I want a better India. And I want a better India. And I'll tell you what, it is something that as a person, as a human being, I am committed to. For me, 20 years from now, when I'm probably going to be a bit older, I'd rather be still known for the changes I brought in this country, for the changes I brought in the people. Would not matter to me whether it was a unicorn or not. We'll build a unicorn, but I think it more happened that everybody, people that work for me, the men and women that work for me, the teams that have worked for me, the dealers that have worked for me, for me, all of those hundreds and thousands of people that are associated to me at OSM and at Omega Group of companies that are better. A better future for them, again, is the biggest payoff for Uday Narang. My father, what did my father think? Look, my father thought that I was going to go to the United States, and since I wouldn't be able to last more than a year, my father thought, he comes from a very comfortable place. And when I was young, right, I went to the United States, and I want to just share a personal matter with you. I went and I used to work in gas stations. I used to work and deliver food, pizzas. I worked all my life. It taught me the power of manufacturing. Whatever level of manufacturing you have, in a pizza place, in a pizza factory, or it was in a factory that was building, robots. I did and learned all of that. So my father thought, I'm going to come back, but I never did. I always took a challenge. And for me, this is a challenge right now.
Watch his inspiring story only on festivalofmanufacturing.in, an initiative by the Times Group.